Hello everybody and welcome. I am Ricker Boom and today we're going to be doing our first attempt at Pokemon Emerald, just like I promised. Pokemon Emerald is a bit more difficult than Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and a little more put together. I've been wanting to switch to Pokemon Emerald for the additional challenge and of course the super secret challenge at the end, so hopefully you like it. If anything, I can later do a side-by-side comparisons of, for example, Pokemon Red, then Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Gold, then Pokemon Crystal, so on and so forth, if you're ever curious on how things change and how it affects a Pokemon's time and performance. Now that I've been doing this for a few months, I'm wanting to try doing different with the videos, and the easiest way to know what you want is for you to comment, so if you think that's something you'd like to see, make sure to drop a comment below. But, to look at Hitmonchan's stats, it's got a base total of 455, which honestly, not too bad. However, most of that is in its attack and special defense, so any physical attacks are going to go great, and I can take special attacks, but here's where the positive ends. His special is only 35, and in Gen 3, the elemental punches are all going to go off that poor special stat. So, we might get Thunder Punch, because 9/10 too much water in the game, but for the most part, we're going to be relying on our massive attack stat. Now, there is some good news with this particular run. There are dark types everywhere in this game, and normal types are a dime a dozen as always. I think this run will be decent with a few tough spots here and there, but for the most part, I think our massive attack stat is going to be pulling us through most of this. We get started, and we start by naming our character Rosie, named after the wonderful streamer, Lovely Rosie T. Rosie is a wonderful variety streamer with a flair for the horror genre. She uses things like Dixper, like I do. She's actually the one that introduced me to Dixper. But it makes the game harder and you get some extra spooks, and overall, she's a very welcoming person. If you get the opportunity or you want some more horror games in your life, make sure to check her out. We grab our Hitmonchan and name him One Punch because I panicked and forgot how to spell Saitama in the moment. From here, it's time to go. We immediately head to Route 103 and go to fight May, who sends out Trico. Trico uses Pound, and at this point in the game, Revenge is actually kind of overpowered. Combat that with our more than decent attack stat, and that one hit is more than enough to take it down. Now, the next part of the game is kind of slow going. It's filled with poison types who don't take too much damage from our fighting moves, but we still managed to make it through without too much trouble landing us in Petalburg City. We talk to our dad, then help Wally catch a Pokemon before moving on. We go through the forest, fight some trainers, and end up in Rustboro City. When we go to fight Roxanne, we've reached level 12. Roxanne starts a Geodude who uses Rock Tomb, and we use Revenge for a clean one-shot. Next up is another Geodude who also uses Rock Tomb, and we use Revenge for another one-shot. Last up is Nosepass, and we're about half health as it begins to harden up. We use Revenge, but it does very little considering we didn't get hit and its defense was boosted. Looking to be about a 5 hit, but it keeps using Harden and goes to yellow before Berry heals it up. Nosepass uses Block and we keep hitting it with Revenge. Unfortunately, Roxanne potions up and Revenge is starting to become somewhat low on PP. Another Revenge brings it to yellow, then she uses another potion, but this time when we use Comet Punch to at least do a small bit of chip damage. We then switch to Pursuit, but now that it seems to be done setting up, we could get more power out of Revenge when it tackles us. We use Revenge twice to finally take it down to win us the first badge. We save the Devon goods from the baddies, we sail with a man in love with his bird, and we get tasked with delivering to a spooky dark cave, and then it's time for us to move on. Going to Dewford, we actually have a few issues through this portion of the game, but more on that later. While we go through and we're lighting up the cave, I wanted to remind you all to subscribe and like the video and all that. It's been a few months since we started doing these, and honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with them. I've been meeting some new creators, and I have some more stuff planned. We should be starting the Wind Waker race, randomizer race, anytime soon, and I think I'm gonna keep them edited like I did the Majora's Mask race, since it does seem to be a little bit easier to digest that way. But enough about that. As we go against Brawly, he sends out Machop, who begins bulking up as we take it to a little above half with Revenge. Low Kick takes us to yellow, and we manage to take out Machop with the next Revenge. Metatite is next, and this is an odd problem for us because its psychic typing our Revenge does very little. As it begins tightening its focus, we hit it with Comet Punch, effectively stopping one turn of attacks. The next Comet Punch lands a crit first time and hits 3 times to take it to low red, avoiding another move. Unfortunately, Brawly potions the thing to full health and we continue to commit to the move. And the next turn, we miss, and Focus Punch takes us out. From there, it's a long line of attempts when we keep getting the same result. Unfortunately, the less than 100% accurate move that is Comet Punch misses more often than not, allowing us to be hit. We tried using Pursuit, Revenge, and unfortunately, we're just not getting the range that we need, and here's where I messed up. We do level up, and right after leveling up, someone redeems me to sing, which I won't play here for copyright reason. However, Spicy Brain makes me completely disregard the fact that I still haven't fought him again, and we immediately just head to Slateport. After that, it's time to talk to the captain, and I sincerely wish the Aqua Lads used the same as Magma, because it would be laughably easy to mow down Poochyena with the fighting types. But while we're fighting the captain, Carvanha is still part dark, and we're able to hit it hard with Revenge, as Bite does a sliver, and Rough Skin does a small chunk as well. The second Grunt comes out with a Zubat, which can be scary, but we're at a decent enough level to bring the Zubat to red, and a Supersonic thankfully misses. Comet Punch then finishes it off. The next is Carvanha, and it's the same thing where it goes down quite easy. After that, it's time to head north, and we reach level 22, and it's time for one of the harder May fights. May sends out Wingull, and we use Comet Punch since it's quite frail, and we take it down to red. Wing Attack smacks into us, and we take it down with a Mach Punch. Slugma is next, and it uses Yawn as we use Revenge, but Slugma is pretty terrible, so it immediately goes down. Grovyle is out and uses Quick Attack, and we use Revenge for a solid one-shot, avoiding us being put to sleep. Getting to Mauville City, we grab ourselves a bike to make traveling just a little bit easier. From there, we make a beeline to the gym, and Wally challenges us. Now, I have a feeling this Gardevoir towards the end could prove to be a problem if we don't outspeed or one-shot it, but for now, Ralts is sent out, we use Comet Punch and immediately take it out. If it technically hits 3 times, is it still One Punch Man? Anyway, we go to the gym, taking out the trainers, and get some additional EXP, and by the time we go to fight Wally, I've abandoned the overlay, so I'll hopefully be able to search the screen properly for the video. As we challenge Watson, he sends out Voltorb first, who hits us with Spark, and we use Revenge to take it out. Electrike is next and uses Howl as we use Revenge to take it out as well, but unfortunately get paralyzed in the process. Now, I know our special is absolute garbage, and we get the option to learn the elemental punches. I do take Thunder Punch. There's a decent amount of flying and water types in this, and some being that dual type, so at the very least, I think we'll get some use out of it. Megaton is Megaton. I'm thinking of Hercule's Megaton Punch. Magneton is the next one up, and it hits us with Shockwave, and you guessed it, Revenge takes it out. Last up is Manectric, and it uses Howl as we use Revenge to bring it above half. Shockwave does a decent chunk of damage, and we use Revenge to finish it off, winning us the next badge. After this, we do some more traveling and set ourselves up to go to the next gym, and that's when we realize our mistake with Brawly. Heading back to Brawly, he sends out Machop, but at this point, we are wildly overleveled because we messed up, so we didn't even bother healing. Karate Chop does a little bit, and Revenge does a lot as we smack it into the ground. Meditite is next and begins using Focus Punch, and we retaliate to take it out as well. Last up is Bakuhita, who uses Bulk Up, and Revenge brings it to a sliver. Bulk Up is used again after a slight heal, and we use Revenge again to take it out and win the second, but also somehow third badge. Fall Arbor and Meteor Falls is next, and it's time for a small gauntlet. Now, though, is where we see the beauty of fighting versus Dark Pokemon. Also, during the way, we replaced the Comet Punch with Strength. Both are normal type moves, and this one is far stronger, and we don't have to worry about a lower accuracy. Anyway, it's time to fight the oh, they're already gone. Okay, time to fight Maxie. Maxie sends out Myena, and even with our attack being lowered, I think we'll be fine. Myena uses Bite, and we get flinched. Thankfully, Sand Attack can't be used due to Kenai, and we bring it to low red with Revenge. The Super Potion is used, and Mach Punch brings it to red once more. Myena is withdrawn as we use Strength and take whatever's out next down to a sliver. The next Strength takes it out, and Myena is back to take down our attack again. Maxi Potions up, and a few Revenges and a Mach Punch later is enough to take it out. Last is Camerupt, who it was a bit of a brick wall for plus level mine, but not Hitmonchan. We take it to above half, get hit with Magnitude, and our next Revenge smacks hard for a critical hit. After that, it's time to go to Lava Ridge Town and fight Flannery, who definitely got an upgrade from Maruvian Sapphire team. Flannery sends out Numel, and we use Strength to take it out in one shot. Slugma is out, and, well, as said, Slugma is really bad and also goes down to a single Strength. Camerupt uses Tackle, and we use Revenge to take it out in another one shot as well. Last is Torkoal, and he uses Attract, one of the most annoying games in the move. Whitney. We break through with Revenge and get hit with Body Slam by a crit next turn, and thankfully another Revenge goes through to take it out, winning us another badge. From here, we're a little less than halfway through the game, and honestly, it's been a lot easier than I thought it would be. Having a not-so-great defense and even worse special attack isn't holding us back nearly as much as I originally thought. I know after this, I'll have to do a Hitmonlee challenge in the next couple weeks to round out the pair. Also, while traveling, I wanted to ask, because the more input I have is better, what do you prefer? Do you prefer shorter videos with each Pokemon doing their own thing, or do you like to have two Pokemon in the same video, doubling the length but covering both? Again, let me know in the comments. And then, a just for fun question, what is a Pokemon you like to use that you feel is underrated? I'll be honest, I never really built a competitive team or anything like that. I just went with whatever Pokemon I thought looked cool. From now, let's go fight Norman. Norman spins out Spinda, and we're still fairly over-leveled, which is pretty common in single Pokemon challenges. Spinda goes down in one hit, and Vigoroth is next, and we go with Mach Punch to take it to yellow. It uses Slash to bring us to 66, and another Mach Punch takes it out. Lanoona is taken to red, and that means it fails its Berry Drum before getting potioned up. And Mach Punch lands a critical hit to take it out with one hot shot. Sleeking is last, and this monster is thick. So it yawns, and we bring it to yellow with Revenge. Since we know we're going to go to sleep with a follow-up, we use Mach Punch, and fall asleep is slacking loafs around. Barry heals it up some, and we continue to snooze, while Slacking uses Fachati. Thankfully, it has to loaf next turn as we wake up and smack it with Revenge to take it out, giving us a first try victory. From there, we get a mission to wander into an abandoned power plant, go to the Weather Institute, and wreck a building full of dark types. When we go to fight Admin Shelly, they send out Carvana, which Mach Punch is an easy one-hit. Next up is Midina, who lowers our attack, and a Mach Punch brings it to red, as it raises our attack back up with Swagger, but confuses us in the process. We use Mach Punch again, but smacks ourselves in confusion, and then get bit. We snap out of confusion, punch the Pokemon, and wrap up the battle. After that, it's time to fight May for one of the final times. Slugma is out first, and a Mach Punch immediately takes it out. Lombre is next, and we use Mach Punch to bring it to yellow as it uses a weak Fake Out. Mach Punch is enough to take it out from there. Rovile's last, and it's her scariest bomb for us as we use Strength to take it to red. Leaf Blade does a decent chunk, but we use Strength and are able to take it out, netting us another fairly painless victory. After that, it's time for more travel, but all too soon we're ready to square off against Winona, who is horrifying for my fighting type. Swablu's out first, so we use Strength that takes it out with one good shot, and Skarmory is out next. We try out Strength to see how it goes, and Aerial Ace does a good chunk. Switching to Thunder Punch, we're immediately doing more, but we're getting low from Aerial Ace, but we do manage to take it out. Tropius comes out, and we use Thunder Punch to once again test damage, and Aerial Ace takes us to red, as we use Strength to bring it to yellow, as it charges for Solar Beam, falling to Strength before it can fire off. Pelipper is next, and not much of a threat, being 4 times weak to Thunder Punch and immediately goes down. Her ace, Altaria, is last, and we start with Thunder Punch, which does pitiful damage before we go down. A few attempts later, we're done guessing. Strength immediately takes out Swablu. Unless we get a critical Thunder Punch, we know that Skarmory is going to be 2 turns to take down. We take it to a little above half as it hits us with Aerial Ace, then we take it out. Tropius comes out, and we switch to Strength while it sets up Sunny Day, which isn't great for Solar Beam if it chooses to spam that. Strength brings it to red, and it begins the stall battle with Synthesis, but thankfully, our next Strength gets a crit before we can take any further damage. Pelipper, as always, goes down to a single Thunder Punch. Finally, it's down to Altaria, who we begin using Strength against and land a hard critical hit. to bring it to red as it begins to Dragon Dance. Then its Berry activates, bringing it out of healing range as it uses Aerial Ace to bring us to 30, and we take it out with our very next attack. After that, it's a bunch of Team Magma stuff, but we're gonna skip to the fight that matters. Maxie. Mightyena is out first, and we send out Hitmonchan, who immediately gets intimidated. Scary Face lowers our speed, and we smack back with Revenge to bring it to yellow. Maxie withdraws Mightyena and brings out Crobat, who is horrifying, and we barely touch it with a Mach Punch. Air Cutter does a lot of damage, and we're doing about a third with Thunder Punch. Maxie potions up as we hit Thunder Punch again, thankfully landing a crit to bring it to red. The next Air Cutter brings us to 24 HP as we take it down with Strength. Camera Up is out, and we use Mach Punch to take it to yellow with a crit before an Earthquake takes us out. A few attempts and few levels later, we try again. Hitmonchan uses Mach Punch to bring it to half, and Mightyena misses Swagger, but then heals up. We bring it to yellow with another Mach Punch, then knock it out with one more. Next up is Crobat, and we start with using Strength only to get confused. We switch to Thunder Punch, but hit ourselves, and Crobat uses Wing Attack. We hit ourselves again, and Crobat uses Wing Attack to take us out. Come on. 8 more attempts pass, and we finally get up to level 55, where we try again. We use Revenge, knowing it packs a bit more punch, and knowing how Mightyena typically opens, and this takes it to red. Maxie withdraws, and we hit Revenge for a small sliver. Wing Attack still hits hard, but we retaliate with Thunder Punch to bring it to yellow. Maxie potions, and we take it back to yellow. Air Cutter hits hard, but we still finally manage to take the bat out. Camera Up comes out and uses Amnesia as we use Revenge for the power to bring it to half. Maxie potions up, and we continue with Revenge because we do manage to survive Earthquake and hit it with the hard Revenge. Mightyena comes back out with just a sliver, and we use Mach Punch to barely grab the win. After that, it's time for Tate and Liza, and here's where I want to apologize. First and foremost, I have to level up a lot because of course I do. Secondly, I just brought my party with me without thinking about catching a Magikarp, and I didn't realize until I was writing this script that Mightyena has Intimidate, lowering attack, and it also meant that they had more Pokemon to attack. So, again, I sincerely apologize for the oversight on my part. It will be something that I make sure not to do in the future, but at the very least, let's go ahead and cover the battle. Let's get to the battle. At level 70 and about a dozen attempts in, we send out Hitmonchan and Mightyena. Hitmonchan uses Strength, and we make Mightyena use Howl to avoid attacking, and Strength thankfully one-shots the bird. We use Mach Punch on Solrock and take it to yellow as Earthquake chips us a little and Mightyena naturally goes down. Solrock takes in Sunlight and begins charging a Solar Beam as we hit with another Mach Punch and manage to take it out before it attacks. Lunatone comes out as we get hit with Earthquake again for a little damage. With Lunatone, we continue with Mach Punch to bring it to yellow. Psychic brings us to yellow, and we use another punch to take it out. Thankfully, this time with a critical hit, which I'm pretty sure did matter. And that leaves us with a 1v1 with Claydol, who uses Earthquake. Strength does a good amount of damage, and Psychic brings us to red as we use another Strength to finish it off. Once again, very sorry about this. I promise in the future it's not going to happen again. It does let me know that we would have probably had to be a much higher level if we didn't have the Cannon Fodder with us, though. From there, the weather gets spooky. Rayquaza tells a couple legendaries to shut up and go home, and we go get our final badge from Juan. Love Disc is up, and we have a pretty strong level lead, so we use Strength to one-shot it. Next up is Whiscash, and we use Revenge as it sets up Amnesia, knocking it out with one shot. With Kingdra, it does have the Scary Dragon typing, and it begins to set up Double Team, which we thankfully bust through with Revenge and take it to yellow. Switching to Mach Punch, we take it out. Celio is up, and we use Mach Punch again, taking it out with a single one-shot, and last up is Crawdon. It uses Leer, we use Revenge, and take it out to nab us the final badge. For the final rival fight, I've lost the footage, but I promise it was nothing special, which leaves us moving on to the Elite Four. And by rival, I mean Wally. First up is Sydney, who starts with Mightyena. Yeah, we've seen these before. Sand Attack thankfully doesn't make contact because of Keen Eye, and we hit with Revenge for a clean one-shot. Shiftry is next, and we use Mach Punch to take it to red and get hit with Swagger, which, as long as we don't knock ourselves out, is actually pretty nice due to our cut attack. Shiftry heals up and we land a Mach Punch, knocking it out with our now boosted attack. Absol's out, and we do hit ourselves for a good chunk of damage, and Aerial Ace only adds to it, but we snap out of Confusion next turn and use our still boosted attack to one-shot Absol. As Cacturn comes out, yeah, it goes down in one shot as well. Last up is Crawdaunt, and it immediately goes down. Next up is Phoebe, and I admittedly forgot there was a Ghost Trainer amongst the Elite Four, so I'm gonna just do some editorial magic and take us all the way to level 90. Was level 9 necessary? Probably, because, again, I always try these attempts beforehand. Is it possible that I'm a big dum-dum and forgot about ghost types? Yes. Dusclops is first, and we use Strength to bait out the Protect, and Thunder Punch on the alternating turn. Then we use Rock Tomb to take it down. Bayonet comes out, and we use Thunder Punch to bring it to below half and paralyze it, but it hits with Shadow Ball. One more Thunder Punch does the job. Another Bayonet comes out, and we repeat the process with Thunder Punch, taking it to half as it uses Grudge. We use Strength to waste that, get hit with Shadow Ball, and then finish it off with Thunder Punch. Sableye out, and we keep Thunder Punching as it uses Double Team, but we break through that to take it out. Dusclops is last, so we use Thunder Punch for about a fourth. We get Shadow Balled and Thunder Punch again to bring it to yellow as the berry activates. Another Thunder Punch brings it to yellow again, it gets healed up, and we use Rock Tomb to lower its speed. We use Thunder Punch to bring it back to low yellow, and we're getting brought low with Shadow Ball. Another 2 Rock Tombs, and it's in low red, and so are we, but thankfully we land one more and knock it out for the win. Between Curse, Grudge, and just general lack of knowledge, this took forever. We heal up and go to Glacia, who sends out Celio, and we use Mach Punch to take it out in one shot. Glalie is out next, and another swift one-shot. We had to level up so much against Phoebe, the rest of her team is essentially a pushover now, and each one goes down to a single shot, except Walrein, who lives with the Sliver, gets its berry, and then healed up to full, but goes back to red. A little bit of stalling from full restores later, and Walrein finally goes down. As we heal up and head to Drake, we use Strength as Shelgon uses Protect, then hit with Rock Tomb as we avoid Rock Tomb. We use Strength to bring it to yellow after it gets a potion, then another Strength finishes it off. Altaria comes out and we use Strength again, hoping to just brute past this Elite Four member. Altaria dances and we finish it off with Strength before it can destroy Hitmonchan. Kingdra's out and we test the waters with Thunder Punch as it begins dancing as well. We use Strength next, and it takes all the way to a Sliver, so definitely the better option of the two. We use Thunder Punch and get hit hard with Body Slam, but finish it off, still above half health. Flygon is up, and we remember painfully from our plus level Minun run his ground typing as we use the Strength and nail a critical hit to take it down with one shot. Salamence is last and lowers our attack as we use Strength for a little over a quarter, and we get hit with Dragon Claw. Another Strength brings it below yellow, and Dragon Claw does the same to us. We use Mach Punch to do a small chunk to keep trying to keep it out of healing range as we get hit with Dragon Claw, and thankfully our ploy worked, letting us switch over to a final Strength to knock it out and take the win. Last up is Wallace, who sends out the tanky boy Wailord, and we use Strength to... Oh, we got a crit. Okay. Whiscash is up next, and we know he's part ground, so we use Strength again to take it to yellow. Earthquake does a small chunk, and a second Strength is enough to take it out. Tentacruel, another tanky mon, is out. We use Strength to take it to yellow as it fires back with a critical hit Hydro Pump, and we take it out next turn. Ludicolo's up, and this is going far better than I thought. We use Mach Punch to take it to yellow as Surf hits us, and another Mach Punch takes it out. Gyarados is 4 times weak to lightning, so even our sad special is enough to take it out in one shot. Milotic is a pain, but we Thunder Punch to test the waters and do about a fourth. It uses Toxic. Great. Another Thunder Punch, and we take it to yellow, and it uses Recover. We use another Thunder Punch, and we get a crit, sealing up the win for the entire Elite Four champion, and technically win the challenge. Now, as said, the reason I'm doing Emerald now is not only harder gym leaders, but the secret challenge at the end. As we fight Steven, I'm not gonna lie, we get destroyed. There may be some better movesets that would still be available, but we do level up to 100 and continue to try. This fight takes a lot of luck, but we did manage this particular attempt. Skarmory is out, and we use Thunder Punch for a one-hit critical shot. 2 Earthquakes take down our Maldo, and 2 more take out Metagross. A critical hit strength is the reason we take Claydol down, because it bypasses its Reflect. Aggron comes out, and an Earthquake takes it to yellow as it charges up for Solar Beam, but before it can fire off, another Earthquake does the job. Cradilly goes down to a couple Mach Punches, and that wins it. The reason I say it's a lot of luck is because I attempted this some other times afterwards to see if we could do this without the crit, and honestly, it's difficult because you've got to take into consideration they sometimes get crit, we get Toxicked a lot, Meteor Mash is almost always a one-shot, I think even from full health it still is. So while this is a weird way to end the run, I'm glad we did it. I'll be honest, Hitmonchan was a bit harder to complete than I thought it would be, but there were long gaps of it actually being quite easy. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do next week, but I know that we're going to be doing a Hitmonlee run here soon. While it doesn't have as much move variety as Hitmonchan, I think we'll be able to manage with some TMs. It'll be a constraining run, I'm sure, but c'est la vie. And, as always, if you liked the video, even if you didn't like the video, think about hitting the like and subscribe button because it really helps me out. Join the Discord, comment, you know the drill by now. And until next time, everybody, peace out.